Hey, Zen of Ben here, Ben Cola. See if we can get the camera straightened out. Oh yeah, very nice. Very nice indeed. We've got a bunch of things to talk about tonight. And I want you to pay some close attention because we're going to get a little more serious than usual tonight. Going to get a little more serious. I don't want you to think that I'm angry or belligerent or anything, but anyway, let's just review real quick what we've been talking about. I told you I sent President Obama a disc like this, and it explained to him the discrimination and the algorithms that Allstate was using against the poor people and denying insurance because they were Baptist and denying people insurance because of color. And once again, it's an example of the rich doing whatever they want. They ended up, thanks to me and my complaint, getting a $25 million fine in the state of Florida. I got nothing, although I was the one who notified the authorities and blew the whistle on them. And complained I was supposed to get a fee for all the damage they did to me. I wrote a letter to Bill Nelson as well. I gave him the disc, and I got a letter back basically from Bill Nelson. Came yesterday or the day before, and it says that they basically shredded the file. They shredded the file, folks. Do you understand this? All right, I sent in a legitimate complaint, a complaint that ultimately ended up in a $25 million fine against Allstate. By the way, admitted no wrongdoing, and the state of Florida is allowing them to go on with their business without asking any questions. And they shredded the file that I gave them.
They lost their license.
They lost their license in the state of Florida and got it back by paying a $25 million fine. They cut a deal, lost their license for 2 weeks in the meantime. And the 6 weeks. And then the agreement was something like this. We pay you $25 million, Florida, and you agree to stop asking questions. Meantime, my file got shredded. No one investigated. I filed an EEOC complaint and a fair wage and hour complaint, a franchise violation complaint to maybe 4 or 5 agencies. And not one called me back. Now you would think if you got a 100-page complaint from somebody that at least someone would pick up the phone and call you and say, Ben, what's your beef? But no. Not even a phone call from these people. I got nothing, and now with no further notice, nothing, I'm finding out that years ago, the file got shredded. And I saw in the news about a year ago, which stimulated me to call them, that there was a settlement with the agents who were similarly situated, but no one told me. I just happened to see it on the back channel of the internet and made some phone calls, leading to my query through Senator Nelson's office. And he said basically that they had torched the file, and how could you do this when if you were going to torch the file, you could have told me you were going to do so and asked me if I had any final words to say. You could have sent an investigator down to my house maybe to ask me what my beef was. I mean, it was hundreds of pages. I mean, what the hell? What do you do to earn your living? Now, the state of Florida has got a state organization that does the same thing as the federal EEOC does. And it says here, according to Nelson's office, they have an agreement that said if one of them says that they have reached some kind of a conclusion, the other one throws away the file as well. So now you've got 2 agencies, a federal agency and a state agency, and both of them reached a conclusion, and neither of them telephoned me. Neither of them mailed me anything. I got nothing. And I spent years filing the complaint because I piled up a pile of evidence that, by the way, the state of Florida used to collect a $25 million fine, but they threw away under Governor Bush because I was hired while Bush was governor. I filed the complaint while Governor Bush was governor, and the file got shredded while Governor Bush was governor. And I got nothing, but the state got $25 million, and I got nothing. So, Governor Bush, what did you do for me? You didn't do anything. I got screwed. Nothing. I didn't even get a telephone call. You know, nobody even called to ask me why I complained. I had so many pieces of information, but guess what? You know, I still have the original file. So you torching the file, doesn't matter. Still got the file. I didn't send you the original. I've got the file. Dude, I've got the file. You're going to go down for not doing your job. And Governor Bush, dude, you know, you didn't do your job. You left me hanging out to dry. And the people of Sanford, the poor people, you left them hanging out to dry. Now, I don't know who took the payoff from Allstate to allow them to have their license back. Well, I know the state of Florida did. But I don't know who they paid off at the EEOC down in Tampa and the Florida Department of whatever it is here. But they simultaneously shredded the files and threw the file away. But it happened under Governor Bush. I mean, this is bullshit. Somebody took a payoff under Governor Bush. Look, and now I see on the internet he wants to run for president. Are you kidding me? We had Bush twice for president. We had Bush Sr. and the other Bush, 2 terms each, or 1 term, 1 and 2 terms for the second one. Round and round we go on this merry-go-round. This is bullshit. It has to stop. Do you understand? We can't keep voting in the same family. I'm sure that Governor Bush is the best of the Bush family. But I'm sorry. I can't trust that he's not going to get information or have contacts through his brother and his father. And I know he didn't help me with respect to the Allstate case. And that was a big deal. That was discrimination against people. It was a big, big, big deal. I lost a lot of money personally. I got blown away. Nobody even telephoned me. Now, I got a problem with these same people going around in circles being president, and then their brother, and then their son, and then their relatives, and then their best friends, and Biden, and now Biden's son's over in the Ukraine. And what the hell's going on here? I mean, you got the world that's being run by a bunch of oligarchs, and they're all inbreds. If they're not inbred genetically, they're inbred close enough that they're attached at the hip and they know each other's friends and they're all connected. I'm telling you, the only way we're going to get our Constitution back and get our government straightened out is to get a whole new set of people. Do not vote for the Bushes. Do not vote for the Clintons. Do not vote for any friends of the same. Do not vote for any politicians who are already in there. You will get the same old crap. Now I'm getting serious here, folks. If you want to see some real change, you got to bring somebody in from left field. You got to bring in someone from the private sector. Now, I just got this the other day from the Republican convention. They want to know from the Cola Household Congressional District 2016 Presidential Platform Survey. Are you kidding me? I'm looking at this thing. This is ridiculous. It's talking about abortion. We're about to be involved in a nuclear war, and the world's going to come to a freaking end. And you're worried about this? And Governor Bush wants to be the president? Are you kidding? You want to take another Bush? I mean, I know he's the brother, but still, can you trust that there's no linkage? You want to take that chance? Bush signed the NDAA. We are in a state of war. We're in a declared war zone thanks to President Bush. This is a declared war zone. We are in a war zone. The police can come here with a machine gun and kill you all. And they can say, well, it's a war zone. They were a belligerent. They could take you away to a black secret ops site. If you want your Constitution restored, you vote for me. I will bring you I will restore your Constitution, and don't vote for any of the same old people. Don't vote for the same congressmen. Don't vote for the same senators, because they're all getting paid off by oligarchs, and there is no way to stop it, folks, unless you vote them out. Otherwise, we're going to end up in some kind of a civil war or something to get our country back. I'm telling you, the only way to do it without any fighting, and we don't want any kind of war, and we don't want any kind of fighting, but we do want our constitutional rights back, is to not vote for the same old crap again. We have to make sure that we do not vote for the same people and or their relatives, brothers, sons, relatives, or any friends of these people. They have got to all go. All of them. We got to clean the house. Everybody. We've got to start over again and reinstate the Constitution and do what I said. Every single law has got to be examined and compared to the Constitution at the federal level and at the state level and at the local level. And if it isn't square with the Constitution, it's got to go. The war on drugs has got to end immediately, and those cells have to be freed up so that we can put the treason people in prison. Now, I'm not all in for going back and tracking down people who did things in the past. Maybe in some horrific cases. But the Bush Sr.'s indicted in another country. He can't leave the country now. Bush, the other Bush wants to run for president. Are we going to take this? I mean, I can't even believe we're entertaining this. Look, I'm sure you're a nice guy. But I mean, you didn't help me any when I needed your help.
I had dinner with him. I thought he was a nice guy.
Look, I'm sure you're a nice guy. But look, we can't take a chance that there are some of your genes or some of your ideas or some friends from your brother or your father that link to you. And we can't take a chance. We can't. We're talking about the earth, not even just our political future. We're talking about possible World War III where the whole earth is going to get destroyed. The Russians are right up to here at this point. You need someone who's going to go over there with these awards and make friends and sell this country as a friendly country and cut business deals with these people and stop this war talk. You can't win a nuclear war. We'll all die. The world will die. Not just us, the earth will die. I'm sorry, sir, I don't trust you. And it might not be you, it might be influences coming from outside connected to your family. I'm so sorry that I can't trust you, but I don't. And I don't think that any of the voters should trust you, and I don't think that you should run. I think you need to give the Bush thing a rest. And Clinton, same thing. I'm sorry. The Benghazi thing is simply over the top. You didn't do anything to save our ambassador over there. And word on the street is, well, I don't want to talk too much about it, but it looks like maybe they were dealing weapons to our enemies. And I guess maybe you wanted him to die. I don't know. But the point is, we can't trust you. And you had your shot. You had your shot. Okay, we know student loans are not bankruptable under Bill Clinton. We know the Glass-Steagall Act was repealed under Bill Clinton, and that leads to the derivatives trading, which is going out of hand right now. Because you know what? I know what the derivatives trading is because I have securities licenses. I'm the only one authorized to know what the hell's going on because I've got licenses in real estate, the highest licenses, and 40 years, 4 decades experience. Insurance, I'm the total expert in insurance, both inside and outside. The claims side and the underwriting side and the agent side. I am the master expert. I can fix our health insurance problems, guaranteed. And I have all the ideas, and I come from a genius family who thinks outside the box and has a proven track record. Look up Rudy Cola. Look up my father, Benjamin Cola. They're passed away. Look Rudy Cola, Malvern, Pennsylvania, and look at all of the patents that he has. I come from the same gene pool, folks. No one out there has the license and credentials that I have in all 3 fields that are the problems in this country, namely real estate, insurance, and securities. We have got to cut loose these congressmen and senators that have been here over and over again because they are all responsible for signing bills without reading them. Look at Nancy Pelosi. I'll give you an example. She got into power. She had $1 million. By the time she got voted in, she said she had $900 million in the bank. She now has $200 million. Now, if you're a senator, how do you get from from 1 million when you go in to 200 million while you're in there, unless there's something going on. Well, I'm waiting for an answer. There is no answer. The answer is RICO violations, constitutional violations, insider trading. Her husband just got the bid on the high-speed rail train in California. Now, isn't there someone else that can build the friggin' train other than her husband? Kind of strange how her husband got the contract to build the high-speed rail train in California. Kind of strange that Biden now owns $4 billion worth of the Ukrainian oil company. I mean, we are being ripped, and these guys are turning into oligarchs, and once they reach a certain level, you cannot stop them because they can bribe anybody into anything. And you cannot stop them other than to get them out of the power. And it's either going to be you vote them out or we're going to have to fight them out. And folks, they have all the guns. We have a lot of guns, but I don't want to fight them. And I know you don't want to fight them. The easiest way is to vote them out. And it's not like you don't have options. There are a lot of people lined up for these jobs. I think I have the credentials. I've been in the private sector all my life, not a politician. I never had a guaranteed job as a politician, not even as a third grader. I earned my way by selling. Look at all these awards. My mother came from Italy because she didn't want this kind of crap happening. This is what was happening in Italy. Look at these awards for salesmanship. Look at that. Each one of them represents beating 100 other salesmen selling product. It takes a month to win one of those. And I was only selling for a month and a half, and I got 11 of those things against 100 other guys. The rest of the time I worked for Evergreen, I was in management telling the other people how to do it, teaching them. I have ideas how to turn this country around, folks. I have the real deal. I can fix this problem. I can fix it really fast. You know why it's not being fixed? Because it's not in the best interest of the oligarchs that are in power now to fix it. The more turmoil we have, the more screwed up things are, the more money they're going to make. Because they create problems that then they have a solution for. You see how this works? It's a carousel. Oh, something goes wrong? Great. Over here, their best friend has an answer. And then now we have to hire them because they're the only people that can fix it. We're starting wars all around the world, folks. It's not on Fox News. You don't know. Listen, I have the inside track on a lot of stuff that you don't know, and I'm not going to tell you where I get it, but trust me, folks, please, I have never, ever lied to you. Give me a chance to debate these other people. And I'm telling you, don't give them a chance to run. Just because they have more money than I do, and they do. Because you know what? They've been feeding off the government teat, and they have money that I don't have. Because they know people that I don't know. They have contracts that make billions of dollars put through their private corporations and to fix the problems that they've generated on their own. And they have more money than me. That's the only thing they have over me is more money. And unfortunately, that's hard to overcome. But I'm telling you, as a matter of our futures and the future of the earth, the future of the earth, do you hear me? We are facing nuclear annihilation against the Russians. And they are up to here. They don't want us in the Ukraine. We have academia over there right now, namely Blackwater, aka academia, training those people against the UN rules that are not supposed to be interfering in their affairs. But we're training them. We have our Abrams tanks up in the northern Europe, facing off against the Russians. Putin said just yesterday, or the day before yesterday, we're not going to fight you if you come across the line. We're going to just nuke you. And the Duma gave him the sole power to press the button. And a nuke went off. We think that it's a nuke, but they're still trying to verify, right outside of Donbass, and it blew out all the windows in the buildings 15 miles away. I saw the video the other day. It went off at night as a demo. We don't know if it was fired from the Kiev side as a threat, as a warning, or as a demonstration from the Russian side that, look, we're not kidding. Either way, thank God it was not aimed at anybody. It was aimed in an open field just to prove they had the tactical nukes. I saw the crater hole. The crater hole is almost a football field deep and a football field wide. I saw 20, 30 men climbing down into the hole. I don't know if any of them had Geiger counters or not, but the point is, folks, these are little tiny little blips compared to the bombs that are going to be flying through the air. They fly through the air, these nukes. And they're going to be coming straight for Washington if the shit hits the fan. The fact is, the Russians believe in our Constitution more than we do. That's the truth. They believe in privacy more than we do. And that's the truth. That's why they're harboring Snowden. And we just have an arrest warrant out for him. If I get into power, I'm going to release Snowden and give him $1 million reward for having the brass kahuntas to come forward and to tell us. I'm warning you from the depths of my heart and my soul, and folks, anyone who knows me will tell you that I have pretty good insight about things. My ears are to the ground. Ever since I was in 8-year-old kid, 7-year-old kid with my newspaper out, and I read the newspaper every day, I know what's going down, and not just what's in the newspaper, but I know how things are twisted. I know every trick in the book that they have. Now, I'm not saying they can't come up with something new, but I know not to trust them. And do you know that Section 5 of the NDAA signed in 2012 by Obama allows the U.S. government to lie to you, to flat out lie to you? It's right in the NDAA. The government is allowed to lie to you and to propagandize the American people. So you can't believe what they say. You can't believe these people. And they signed it. Your congressmen, the people who are in power now, who now want to run for president and become elevated from senators or congressmen into presidential power, are the people that signed legislation that tapped your phone, took away your constitutional right, turned America into a so-called war zone, thereby sidestepping the Constitution. Now the Constitution doesn't apply because we're in a war zone. And now these people want to become the president? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And Nancy Pelosi says, oh, funny, we have to sign the bill so that then we can read it. You sign a bill, Mr. Congressman or Mr. Senator, and you don't read it first, so help me God, you're going down. With me as president, you better read everything you sign. And you're going to take a 20-hour class. And frankly, if you're in power now, I'm not going to even let you be a congressman unless you get voted in, and I'm urging you not to be voted in. And I have a strange feeling with all these awards, and by the time I'm done debating whoever they put me up against, you're going to take my side of this equation, and you are not going to vote the same dude back in power again, unless it's your brother or something, in which case there just won't be enough brothers to get voted in. We need a complete flushing of the toilet like 10 times to get back on track. And I'm sorry for being angry here, but do not vote for the same congressman as you have now. We need new blood. There are many people who could take these jobs, and they're not wealthy enough to get on the ballot. They don't know what to do. They need mentorship. They need guidance. They need money. They need donations. But please, whatever you do not vote for the same people. They have to go. We can't have people that get voted in, and then when they run out of being allowed to be voted in because they run out of term limits, then it's their brother or their wife. Bullshit! This has to stop. We're building oligarchs. This country is being run by the very 1% few who are hurling the money around, and Fox News is just obeying. They have to obey now because the news and the NDAA, Article 5, signed in 2012 by Obama, says they're allowed to propagandize the people. I'm telling you, don't believe the news. And the best way is to don't believe it and just get rid of the old guard. I will reinstate the Constitution, and then we will throw away this NDAA bullshit because, you know what, We're not at any kind of threat. You're going to have the right to keep your gun unless you're a felon. And you're going to be able to protect yourself. Hey, ISIS comes across the border? No way. They'll be liquidated. The American people will liquidate them. They won't need the police. We have the police anyway. The DHS, we don't need them. We just need a well-armed populace. We're a Christian country here. I understand we have some Muslims here that are good people. They don't want to chop off anybody's head or do anything bad. But I'm telling you, ISIS cannot get a toehold in the United States, and they won't. I know they won't, no matter what kind of president or vice president or senator you have in. The American people just won't go for it. When they see bad people, they recognize the American people are good. The problem with that is that they're gullible. Folks, because of your goodness and because of your honesty, you're gullible. I'm gullible too. Look, I fell for the dude who called me last week and said he was from Microsoft. I told you this story. Go back and look at my last week's tapes, what happened to me and how my computer went down because I was gullible. My neighbors are gullible. They probably would have fell for it too. But you know what? A bad guy goes down the street here and starts waving a gun around or doing something bad. Believe me, he ain't going to take it. He ain't going to live very long. Because first of all, we're going to call the police, and we have an honest police force here for the most part, I think. I mean, I have no proof that they're bad. I question some of the things, but I have no proof, so I'm not going to say anything bad about them. I mean, we all wave to each other. We're all friends. We live in a little community, and that's the best way it should be. But even in a big community, do not vote for the Clintons. Do not vote for the Bushes. Do not vote for anyone who has been in power before. The Carters, any relatives of the Carters, anybody, even if somebody pops up with the last name Reagan or Pelosi. These people have got to go, all of them. They have to. Even if some of them are good, I'm sorry. For the sake of this country, some good people are going to have to lose their job in an effort to make sure that we clean the House fully and properly, and the Senate. When I say the House, I'm talking about the entire House, and I'm talking about the entire government. We need to flush the toilet like 10 times, maybe 20 times, followed by a Clorox and a complete desanitation. And we need to have the FBI completely cleaned out, and we need to make sure that they go after for RICO violations, these PACs and private PACs and the secret societies that are going in the background and running and causing false flags, causing terrible things to happen, and then suddenly coming up with a solution. I'm so sorry for the honest politicians, but please, for the sake of your country, I'm sure you're willing to sacrifice your political career. And your pension, I think, after one term in office is safe anyway. Please don't run again. Let other people have a chance. Please, I'm pleading with you. I'm pleading with you, Mr. Bush. I never met you. I'm sure you're a great guy. I would love to have dinner with you and talk this over, but you cannot be the president. You need to sacrifice this, just like I was sacrificed in the Allstate thing. You need to take a lump here. You have a good pension. Hell, you had the best job that money can buy. You were the governor of this great state of Florida for 2 terms. You have it made in the shade. You have your medical insurance. You have a beautiful pension and a beautiful family. But I'm sorry, for the sake of the unknown, we can't take a chance. And John McCain, John, I love you. You're Navy, you're like me. I love you, but please, sir, I'm pleading with you, step aside. Let someone new have a chance. Let someone new have a chance. Let someone new in the private sector like me, who has evergreen awards like I do, and the credentials that I have, and a thorough understanding of the insurance business, and a thorough understanding of the real estate business, and a thorough understanding of the securities business. and run a small business all my life. And I took my bumps and bruises. And don't say, well, because my business had trouble in the end that I wasn't successful and therefore I'm not a successful businessman. No, I'm sorry, I am a successful businessman because I had my greatest high, I had my greatest low. Are you a pilot? How big is your yacht? Are you a captain? How many boats did you save from sinking? How many times did you have your back up against the wall and got out of it? How many bad things happened to you that you were able to overcome? How many times did you get knocked down in business without the help of the government and were able to be stood back up again of your own volition? No, I'm sorry. You don't have the credentials that I have. I don't know who does. And if someone does, I'll step aside. I'll mentor them. I'll tell them what I have. I'll help them. I won't do it for free because I have no job. I need money. But I know, I have a gut feeling that I can fix this country. And it's burning deep within me. And if you think you can beat me in a debate, good luck. Look at that howitzer. That is the nuclear power right there. Good luck going against that howitzer. I still have it up here, folks. I still have it in here, heart and soul. I'm 60 years old, but you know what? The fire burns deep inside me, and it is strong. And I didn't want to go into politics. I feel like I'm being drawn by God. I feel like I'm being drawn by some kind of strange force. I'm here to fix this country. I'm not about to run away. Like I said, I could get on a boat and I could leave and I could go to Tahiti or whatever and just avoid the nuclear coming holocaust, because that's where you guys are headed. And if you guys get in power again, I'm sure that's where we're headed. And you're going to ruin the earth. You're going to kill everybody. You're going to get us all killed. Not to mention the fact that you're going to make enemies of all our old friends. Look, people in the world are different. A new world order right now is not a good idea. There are customs. People who live on the other side of the earth, they have a different way of doing things. The United States has always recognized that they are different than us. You can't lump everybody together and say, we're going to have a new world order and it's going to be run by some, I don't know what, some kind of oligarch. I mean, it's going to be run by the guy who has the most money, I suppose. No, I don't want to be dictated to by someone who has the most money, who the first thing he's going to do is take away your right to speech, because he's not going to want the people to say bad things about him or organize, because it's like the little dot where, you know, you've got one little guy in charge, but he's surrounded by billions of people and they feel like they're being ripped by the oligarch. And the oligarchs are getting richer and richer and richer. And they're all buds, they're all friends. And they have plans for us. And they aren't necessarily good. I think this whole plan that they want to kill off a third of us is true. I mean, the more you look at it, it's like they certainly aren't out to save people. I don't see where they're out to save people. They like starting wars all over the place. And you notice they don't tell the American people. We are being lied to legally, because they signed legislation and they said, oh, well, we didn't read it. Nancy Pelosi didn't let us read it, but we signed it. You stupid morons voted for legislation that you didn't read. That is, in my business, the real estate business, is misrepresentation. If I were an attorney, that would be misrepresentation. You're not representing your constituents. I see this letter coming from Senator Nelson. The EEOC, they didn't represent me. Who did they talk to investigate my Allstate complaint? That they shredded the file? Who paid them off? Well, obviously, Mr. Ed Liddy had billions of dollars. He owns 3 million shares of Goldman stock. And when he became CEO of AIG, they lent money to Goldman. And that's why he said he would work for $1. So when he lost his job at Allstate after the $25 million fine, I guess they asked him to step down, and woohoo, they put him in power as CEO of AIG, and he said, well, I'll do it for $1. Well, I guess so, because now he's in charge of all the bailout money. And what did he do with the bailout money? He lent the money to Goldman Sachs, a company that he had 3 million shares of stock in. So now his stock went up, more than any salary would have been. So why not work for $1? So you see how this works? It's the buddy-buddy network going full speed ahead. And you don't know who is friends with who. You know some of them, but you don't know all of them. And it is one gigantic RICO violation. They're racketeering. And because they're in high places, they're not investigated, they're above the law. They float like in a cloud above the law. And then right to your face they say, I signed the bill because I had to, otherwise the government was going to shut down. Well, so what? Let the government shut down. It doesn't scare me. I mean, what in the world would happen if the government shut down? Well, I'll tell you what they did last time. They blocked off the parks. They didn't stop the Social Security recipients. They didn't stop their salaries, anything that's important. They shut down the things that are going to piss off the most people, but not the things that really matter. They didn't stop making weapons. Folks, you know, the reason that we have high unemployment is because we have computers now. We have machines and robotic machines, and we have high power manufacturing capacity that can make things faster and cheaper, and we don't need as many people. The truth is, the government could be run by just your representative in a computer sitting at home, and he doesn't even need to go to Washington because everything can be done through the internet. And you know, what is this? You know, everybody has to vote for president, and you have until 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, whatever, and then the poll closes at 7 o'clock, and then there's a line. You know, why can't you vote with your ATM card over a period of a week? I mean, if your ATM card is secure enough to give you $400 back from the ATM machine, you're telling me that's not secure enough to vote for president through your ATM card? The ATM machine takes your picture. It could take your voice print too. You could talk to it. It could ask you a few questions to make sure your voice is the same. And then it could give you a receipt. And on the way back there could be a clear plastic box that you could put your receipt in. And then if there's an audit, they could just look in the box, and the audit of the receipts in the box has to match what the computer says, so there can't be any backdooring that way. I don't know why they don't do this. You know, I am afraid that the voting could be rigged, and in foreign countries too, where I have our CIA in there and the black ops, and they're trying to take over, overthrow our regime so that they can gain possession of their natural resources. And I'm not saying we don't want their natural resources, but look, with a salesman like me, I could cut a deal with them, and we don't have to fight. We can all be friends and still share what we need. But these oligarchs are hell-bent on getting rich while in government. They are not interested in the little guy. They may pretend they are so they can get reelected. The reason they only care about getting reelected is because they want to make sure they maintain their power. It certainly isn't the pay, because the pay as a congressman is not that high compared to if they went in the private sector. Senator pay is not that high. Hell, even the presidential pay is not that high compared to being the CEO of a major corporation. You make me president, I'll take less. I'll take a pay cut. Over whatever Obama's getting, take 20% off and I'll be happy. So there you go. That's 1 point in my favor. If you don't like me, I won't run for a second term. I think I can fix things, folks, and I'm telling you, we need a complete flushing of the toilet at least 10 times, and I recommend 20 times, followed by a brisk cleaning with Clorox. And it needs to be disinfected because the stench is smellable all the way down here in Florida, and we're 1,000 miles away from Washington. All around the world, the people around the world. And like I say, I talk to them. My friend has a business where he's forced to talk to people all around the world because his business has contacts around the world. And when we have lunch together, he's on the phone all the time. And so I meet his friends and we talk. and they're bilingual. I don't speak two languages. I only know English. I took 2 years of Spanish, so I know de minimis Spanish, and therefore a little bit of Italian because it's similar. But folks, we have senators becoming rich because they're politicians. What does that tell you? Pelosi, I give you, and others, but she comes right to the top of the list. From $1 million when she went in, no other source of income, to $2 million, $200 million. 200 times her income, 200 times increase in her net balance sheet. And then her husband gets the sole rights to build a high-speed line rail in California. Are you kidding me? Isn't there someone else who can build the speed train? Isn't the fact that she has $200 million in the bank enough that he doesn't need to have a contract to build this thing? I mean, doesn't she lend it, give him an allowance for something? I mean, I'd like her to be audited. I got audited because I told the police and I told the FBI some things that I thought were suspicious, and instead of getting a pat on the back as they arrested these people post 9/11, I got audited by Lois Lerner. And in the lead up to 9/11, my phone was tapped because, you know what, my phone was on all the time. My hip, it was on my hip, was hot because my phone would ring, but the ringer wouldn't go off, and whoever was on the other end of the phone was listening because the battery would get hot, and when you would listen to it, there was no one there, but the battery was on, and he was obviously listening to me because the battery would go dead, but I would plug it into my cigarette lighter usually, and it would keep it going. And when I bought a new, when I went back to Singular, I said, look, I think there's something wrong with this phone. I think it's on all the time listening to me. They said, no, everything seems to be okay. The settings are set so that if it rings, it's going to ring. There's no silent ring. But there is something in the software where they can call you. Your phone doesn't ring, but it answers, and then they're listening to you. But the telltale to that is your battery's going dead. Well, I had that for 2 or 3 years in the late 90s, leading up to the 9/11 thing. I went back to Singular at least 10 times filing complaints. All they did is either give me a new battery, a couple times they gave me a new phone, but guess what? The new phone did the same thing, overheating. You know, the phone is off the hook. Please, there is an easy way out of this. And the easy way out of this is to say, look, Mr. Congressman, look, Mr. Senator, no offense. Just don't run for re-election. Let someone else have a chance. We have many smart people in this country, people who have run small businesses, people who have had their ups and downs, people who can think out of the box, who can come up with solutions to problems that have never been thought of before, which I have. And I'm not going to lay that out now in this speech. I'm just telling you how angry I am that these people can run over and over and over. Do you ever wonder why they run over and over and over again? Why do they get reelected? Because they have more money and no one can stand against them. You need money to stand up and run. I don't have money. Look, I'm pleading with you to give me a chance. Give me a chance and I will put all of my videos, I will post my ideas. I need to be nominated. If I can't get the GOP, I will run as an independent. What difference does it make if you're a GOP or a Democrat? Same old crap. New day, same old bullshit. Give me a chance. I'm pleading with you. Your life may depend on it. The entire world may depend on it. These people that are running our country right now are frankly insane. They are insane. They're clinically insane. And they're alcoholics. We already know they drink more alcohol up there. They have their alcohol parties. And now they're allowed to smoke pot. So I suppose they're smoking pot and drinking alcohol. They have some kind of Napoleonic complex where they feel that they're untouchable and that they rule the world? No, they don't. They don't rule the world. They don't rule anything except for their own lives. And you know what? They're all probably going to go to hell as they face the Lord at the time of their death. And they're all going to die of old age someday. And they're going to face God. And what are they going to say when they're facing God? And God asks, why did you do this? Why did you run for office so many times? Why did you, when you ran out of times to run for office, you got your brother in there? What was so important that you had to stay in power? Why didn't you give someone else a chance? Well, I'm waiting for an answer. I don't hear any legitimate answer. Is it because you really think that you're that much better than the rest of us, that you have all the ideas? Every idea you came up with has led to failure or death of many people, and you ran up a gigantic debt. We have people hungry in this country because they're not getting food stamps, people who qualify. People who should be getting Social Security disability can't get it. Our vets aren't being cared for. We wouldn't have so many injured vets if you didn't start wars up all over the place. What are you going to say to God when you pass away of old age? Which, thanks to your medical care versus the Obamacare that the rest of us have, will probably be an extra 35 years on your life compared to my life. What are you going to say? You're not getting into heaven, not as I know it. My heart and my soul is clean. I have fresh ideas. I'm pleading with you. Please, folks, give me a chance. Give me a chance. I'm asking Fox News to let me on the debates. I'm asking CNN and MSNBC to listen to me seriously. Don't try to trick me with trick questions that are impertinent. We are facing Armageddon at this very moment over many, many things, mainly the United States versus Russia over the Ukraine issue, or United States versus China versus over containment. Why are we containing China? For what? What did they do to us other than buy our bonds? They bought our bonds, and our bonds are providing a very low yield as inflation is higher, and that the dollar in the future may not be worth very much, not to them, but to the American people. I told you a country like America can't be brought down by virtue of the fact that it's going to starve to death and we're going to have a great recession and everybody's going to go hungry. If this country, now under the current administration, if you put the same oligarchs in power, oh yeah, they'll arrange for you to be starving to death, and then they'll come up with a solution, and it's going to be expensive, and it's going to run you bankrupt, and a lot of people are going to die, and that's what they want to happen. My way of doing things, I'm telling you that our country is big enough, powerful enough, it has enough natural resources and labor pool that we will never perish from the face of this earth. From sea to shining sea, from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico, East Coast to West Coast, the Lord has given us the best piece of real estate there is to give. They gave it to us to take care of and to pass on to our children, because even though you own your property, you know what? You really don't. In the scheme of things, in the scheme of the world, you're only going to be here for one speck of a piece of time. And the rest of the time that the earth is in existence, you're not going to be here. Your body's going to be dead. And your soul will either be in heaven or hell. Probably be in hell. I'm not a gambling man. I don't gamble. But if I were to gamble, I'd say you're going down, not up. Upon the death of your old bodies when you pass away from old age, hopefully it'll happen from old age and not from mass Armageddon and a nuclear war. And these holes that you dig in the ground, underground shelters, I mean, even that on its face is preposterous, because it's proving to us that you think something could happen, or might happen, or will happen, and you're going to run in your hole and be safe. And then someday you're going to come out. It doesn't work that way. The land, the earth will be damaged beyond repair. when you come out of your hole in the ground, and the rest of us are dead because we didn't have access to the hole in the ground. We didn't run away like the rats that you are. It won't matter. You're just going to die a slower death, because when you come up, you're going to be irradiated like the rest of us. Even 30 years, even if you stay in the hole for 30 years. And is that any way to live in a hole in the ground? Man was meant to be free, to feel the sun on his face and the breeze, and to see the sky, and to have clean and clear water. It won't be clean and clear water if there's a nuclear war, even a small one. The earth will be damaged beyond repair. These radionuclides are going to last forever. Some of them will go away, but the rest of them will last forever, certainly 100 times longer than you're going to live. They're going to be deadly radionuclides floating around the earth. They're going to be in outer space, low orbit. They'll be in our ionosphere, our ozone layer. They'll be in the clouds. They'll be in the rain that falls from the sky. They'll pollute the water. And you're going to say, well, I have filters and special things, but I'm going to live. What kind of a life is that to live? And then knowing the rest of us are dead because of you, because you didn't have these evergreen awards that I have, and therefore couldn't reach a peace agreement with Vladimir Putin, who has the sole authority to press the button to kill the world over Ukraine. So what? Over Ukraine. You're gonna let all of us die because you guys are running secret wars around the world that the other governments who are nuclear powers know about, and that we don't, and then we don't know why the nukes are flying. And then you're going to say, well, the Ruskies are doing it. Well, they're doing it because we did bad things. And Fox News was under orders to lie and say everything's fine. And the Baltic Dry Index is at an all-time low, indicating the economy is not doing well. But you don't talk about that. Listen, there's an easy way to fix this, folks. You need someone who is a good salesman to negotiate with these people around the world. We need friends. Friends. We need friends because they have big weapons, just as big as our big weapons. It's like the Wild West. And this guy, Sheriff Dillon, has his .44 Magnum pointed at one bad guy, and the bad guy's got his gun pointed at Sheriff Dillon. And if they both pull the trigger at the same time, the bullets are going to fly, and they're both going to get shot at the same time, and they're both going to die. That's what we have. As those missiles fly from one side of the earth to the other, it doesn't matter if some of them blow up on one side of the earth and the majority of them blow up on the other side of the earth. So what are you going to say? You won because we sent 50 of our warheads got through and blew Russia up, and they only got 30 warheads through to us, so we won. What did we win? Oh yeah, we hit the jackpot. Now we're irradiated for the rest of eternity, and we're all going to die from radioactivity. Or if we're lucky, our lives will be shortened by 20 or 30 years, and we're not going to have any food to eat because it's all radioactive. And we're not going to have any fresh water. And you're not going to have a thyroid, just like me. My thyroid was nuked by an electrical plant, probably, most likely. Can't prove it. Nevertheless, it was radiation. The doctor told me that it couldn't have happened any other way. If we have an atomic war, it's going to be that times a million. Times a million squared. Folks, your best friend isn't worth the whole earth exploding and being ruined. Don't vote for your best friend to be congressman, even if he is your best friend. Don't vote for your best friend to be the president, even if he is your best friend. To save the earth, we need to get rid of everyone in charge right now, because they have brought us nothing but back to the brink of mutual assured destruction, which is what we had when I was a kid, ducking under our first grade chair and our kindergarten chair and desk. I don't want children having to duck under the desk, and it's not going to help anyway, because the food's going to be poisonous and we're all going to die. Over what? The people of Donbass and Novorossiysk voted to become part of the Russian Federation. Let them go. Look, if they want to be Russian, cut them loose. isn't going to make a hill of beans worth of difference to the average American other than they won't die in a nuclear war. If you attack with your Abrams tanks, Putin's going to just push a button and he's going to wipe out 1,000 tanks at a time with his tactical nukes. And then you're going to retaliate with tactical nukes, and so then we're going to have these small nukes going back and forth. And what good's that going to do? It's going to make everything radioactive. At the very least, for 1,000 miles in all directions, at the very least, that land won't be arable. You won't be able to grow anything. That leads me to the airplanes flying in the sky. We have enough suspicion right now that an investigation needs to be launched immediately as to what is actually in the contrails. If it's nothing, then it's nothing. Now, I'm a pilot. Are you a pilot? Is our president a pilot? No, of course not. Too stupid to be a pilot. Our congressman, is he a pilot? No, too stupid to be a pilot. I know what a contrail looks like, and I know why it forms. I had weather training more times than I can count. Look, folks, we need to investigate what is in these contrails. We already know that we're measuring measurable amounts of barium and aluminum is very toxic. And if they are spraying aluminum on us, folks, and they are, because it's in the snow when there's a fresh snowfall and then there's a contrail, we have smart people who don't lie, who have the instrumentation, who are telling us that there is barium and there is aluminum in that fresh fallen snow, and that could only have come from the contrails. What does that do to the brain? It makes you forgetful, gives you early Alzheimer's disease. What does fluoride do? They're giving us poison in our water, fluoride. They're dumbing us down. That's why the American people just don't give a damn, because you're medicated. You're being medicated to some ridiculous level. I drink bottled water and I feel way better. A couple of days ago I went to a restaurant and they gave me filtered water, but guess what? That doesn't take the fluoride out. The new fluoride goes through filters. And I thought, well, how bad could one glass be? Well, guess what? I felt like crap for the last few days. From one glass of water. That's how bad it is, folks. And these guys are putting fluoride in your water. I say, look, if you want to put fluoride in the water, sell it at the Walgreens, at the CVS pharmacy, and then you add it to your water if that's what you want. And if you don't want it, then you don't add it to the water. But the countries that are doing the best don't have fluoride in the water, folks. We are being dumbed down, and then the oligarchs are using their money to get on the airwaves. And Fox News and CNN are being ordered to only let them on the airwaves and let only them run for president. And then you have a choice between worse and even worse than that. Folks, give me a chance. Once again, before I go, please donate money. We're building a website. I will run as an independent. If I can't get the GOP nod, I'm going to run as an independent. And we are going to blow these guys out of the water, and we are going to get our Constitution back. And folks, we are not going to have a war. Our worst enemies are going to turn into our best friends by the time I'm done with them. Trust me, there won't be any war. And we're not going to be giving up any of our rights either. Give me a chance. I plead with you. I'm solid American. I don't represent any threat. I will help us. Give me a chance to lead this nation. And we need to vote out the existing politicians. Do not let them run again. They have a bad track record. And that's the end of it. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for being upset today, folks, but I mean, if I don't show how upset I am and angry I am, I mean, it's just not going to sink in, because you guys, some of you are just drinking too much fluoride and are just not getting it. Please, I'm pleading with you, give me a chance. I think you'll be surprised. I can turn things around. You're going to be really surprised. Thanks. Thank you so much. Any donation, I appreciate. We've got to get my website up, and we need petition drives, and a petition drive is going to cost. But we have time to do it, and we can do it, and we need money to do it. And because I'm not a government employee, I don't have that big pension like Bush does to run his own millions of dollars, or like Mitt Romney. I'm not a millionaire to do this myself. I need donations to do it. And you should only be voting for politicians who need donations to do things, because if they have millions of dollars to run their own campaign, it probably means they've corruption some way, somehow. And folks, we need to flush the toilet 10 times or more. And if a couple of good guys get thrown out with the bad, we're saving the earth. It's worth it. And believe me, they all have plenty of money. You're not really hurting them by telling them to step aside for a while. Thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate every single penny that's donated to the cause. It will be used for the cause. We will get the signatures we need. We will be on the ballot at the very least as an independent, and we will win, because we are going to show the GOP and we're going to show the Democrats that the independents can win, and it doesn't matter. We are going to vote for the best guy, not the Democrat or the Republican, because you know what? That doesn't matter. We already know that things didn't get any better under the Clintons. Democrat didn't get any better under the GOP. Nothing but wars, fighting. We need an independent guy. Someone who can think out of the box and doesn't have all these well-connected friends. Please, I beg of you, your life may very well depend on it. Please, Benjamin Cole at AOL, and call me, 407-463-2700. Just go ahead and call me anytime you want. I will talk to anyone who wants to talk to me about politics or anything you want to talk about. Even if you have an insurance question, real estate question, or securities question, I am an expert and I will consult with you for free. Thank you very much for listening to me, folks. Good luck and God bless.